Joe Burrow stinks this year. I mean, good God, what was that versus the Tennessee Titans? What is this product we've been seeing on the field where Joe Burrow literally looks like Mac Jones, and he's on the level of someone like Daniel Jones so far this year? You have Jamar Chase on this team. You have T. Higgins, who's trying to get paid this year. You spent all of this money on your offensive line, and he's still getting killed every single play. Joe Burrow, you turn around and he's getting leveled by Jeffrey Simmons, and someone's knocking him out. They're getting roughing the passer calls on him. And then Joe Burrow, I get you're hurt, man, but if you're going to put yourself out there, you're still opening yourself up for criticism. So if we're going to be transparent on the show, he's been one of the most disappointing quarterbacks so far this season. It's been one of the worst quarterbacks in the league. This team can't score. You have multiple games where you've only gotten 3 points. This is twice now that you've only scored 3 points. You barely strung some plays together versus the Ravens. It was your fault that you lost to the Ravens because you threw that interception at the goal line. And then this game, after the Titans get annihilated by your division rival, you go into Tennessee and you're letting Derrick Henry be your quarterback and throw touchdowns on you. Ryan Tannehill is still playing very questionable football at best, and he's still beating you. I mean, your defense isn't going to hold up. If you keep only scoring 3 points, there's only so much they can do to help you.
What was frustrating for me was I felt like the last quarter of the Rams game, I had hope. I'm like, okay, I'm starting to see them piece it together here. And I don't understand, like, you know, we talk about the Jaguars and the struggles they've had. Well, at least that's like a younger quarterback, less proven, you know, and they have a new receiver. There's no new pieces outside of maybe an offensive lineman. So, like, you have all this offensive line. You have the most expensive offensive line in the league, and they can't stop anybody from getting to Joe Burrow. I mean, you're talking about a guy who's playing on 1 foot, and every single play he's getting smacked around. And for Joe Burrow, it's like, if you're really as hurt as you're acting, because you act like as if you have like a broken foot out there, can't move, can't be the same dynamic guy, you're not helping the Bengals at this point. They'd be better off going after someone like Carson Wentz, putting him in the game, having him play. At this point, like, you can't move around the pocket. You have the lowest yards per attempt in the league, lower than Daniel Jones, lower than Mac Jones, lower than these other guys who we constantly berate. So it's like, at this point, if you're as hurt as you sound, as hurt as you're playing, maybe you should step out a game. Rest up, rehab, so when you actually come back, this team has a shot. Because right now, he gets a big shot and he's out for the season. The season's already over.
Yeah, I mean, the season's already over at this point, because if you're going to be this hurt, this isn't an injury that magically gets better. This isn't something that you can play your way into, like, being better. It's something that needs time. You need to keep weight on it. You need to keep constantly rehabbing this calf injury. It's like, it's going to mess up his throwing motion. He's getting hit. He's holding the ball too long in the pocket, but he doesn't have any time to throw. His mobility is hindered. And unfortunately, at this point, he's going down the same career trajectory as Ben Roethlisberger, where he's taking these big shots. He is electric and explosive in moments. He can dominate certain games, and he's definitely better than Ben Roethlisberger. He, like, is Ben Roethlisberger like build and play style, but with Tom Brady's brain, if that makes sense.
I kind of like Andrew Luck a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, big physical guy, little shifty, but not quite like what he's known for. And he's got the sharpness of Tom Brady, to some extent. I can kind of see that comparison.
But this team still can't run the football. I mean, what are we doing with Joe Mixon? You let Samaje Perine go. You didn't find a replacement for Hayden Hurst, and you just let him walk at tight end. So those are your 2 third down guys. However, you still have Jamar Chase, you still have Tyler Boyd, and you still have T. Higgins. So it's like, you don't have an excuse for your offense to be bad, because this is your 3rd year running it back with this crew. It's like, usually teams that have continuity come out like the Cowboys did when they absolutely annihilated the Giants, or they rebound like the Bills did and start annihilating people. They typically don't start this slow every single year. And when the Patriots were starting this slow is when Tom Brady was like 35 and their best receiver was Danny Amendola. fucking a lacrosse player, not Matt Lacoste, Chris Hogan. And then you had Julian Edelman. So it's like you had 3 okay guys. So it's like Brady was just willing them to those playoff games. We're trying to keep Gronk healthy throughout the season. You're not trying to keep Jamar Chase healthy. You're not trying to keep T. Higgins healthy. These are young, athletic dudes
who haven't even gotten paid yet.
No.
T. Higgins is trying to get paid. I will say T. Higgins is dropping a lot of passes as well. So T. Higgins deserves some blame. But Joe Burrow, at the end of the day, if you're hurt, you got to sit out, man. It's like it's hurting your team. You guys are 1-3 at this point. And in the division with the Ravens, who have a great defense, they got Lamar Jackson. In a division where you have the Browns, who have a great roster around them, and the Steelers, who are always in the mix no matter what, even with injuries. This is a division where if you don't start moving things fast, you're doomed.